Who would be able to move Hifumi's fat ass? And I'm not even trying to be an asshole. He's like huge. The two bodies that had disappeared were right there. The smell of blood made me gag. What I saw before my eyes was unquestionable, unavoidable, unwavering reality. And then I heard the announcement for a second time.
A body has been discovered after a certain amount of time, which you may use however.
And so here we are. Without further ado, let me give you all the next Monokuma file. I was going to hand them out when you found the bodies the first time, but I thought something might happen.
What?
It was really hard to resist, but turns out I was right.
Stop talking.
Just hand it over already.
Punishment is waiting.
Now make
for
sure to
you.
investigate with all of your mental might and prepare for the class trial.
See ya
Okay,
later.
see you later.
Hmm.
Well then, now that we've found the bodies, all that's left to uncover is to uncover the culprit. Like, you don't know where half the people are. Hold on. How can you be so calm? I mean, they're dead, you know?
That's terrible.
Dead. Gone forever. They're never coming back. Awful. This is all just too awful. Hina suddenly burst into tears. She clutched at Hifumi's lifeless body.
Who would do this? Why? Why?
Large, wet tears fell from her eyes. The tears landed on Hifumi's cheeks. If this were some world of make-believe, that might have been when Hifumi opened his eyes. But this wasn't a movie. This wasn't. Why is he alive?
He's alive again?
Where am I? Cold. So cold.
Winter is coming.
Is winter coming?
Winter is coming.
Hifumi! Wake up! Huh? That's right. I remember now. Hope's Peak. Come on, you gotta wake up! I remember everything before I met you all. I met you all.
His memories are all blending together. He has nothing useful to offer us.
The light. It's reaching out to me.
Go to the light, Hifumi. Go to the light. Go to the light, Hifumi.
Like the tail of a comet. Hey, Hifumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right. I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
His eyes closed, and they never opened again. Death for the second time. Absolute, undeniable death. You kept saying he was dead before. No matter how many more of Hina's tears splashed his face, there was no second miracle. Reality set in again. This isn't some stereotypical fantasy world. Tears can't restore a person's vitality.
Honestly.
You have no tears, do you? No blood in your veins, no calcium in your bones. At least you have your meat.
Stop talking.
You're just angry. Going out of his way to return, just to leave us with those unnecessary dying words. Now this game has become exceedingly boring. He said, Yosuhiro, right?
Then perhaps...
Yasuhiro Hagakure? That's the only person he could be referring to.
So in other words...
And with that, the case is solved. Assaulting people and even killing Taka and Hifumi. And then going so far as to hide their bodies. A criminal that hides his face behind a mask and uses a bunch of giant wooden hammers. Is that what Hero is?
What is this?
If it's true, I can't forgive him. No way I can ever forgive him. To kill two of our friends?
That's fine.
Anyways, it's about time we track down the culprit in our little life or death game here. Yeah, he's the one with the giant dreadlock looking things. Although this time it's not all that life or death, the trial will conclude without much trouble.
Indeed.
Yes, it does look that way. It's going to begin again. You have to go through this one more time. I have to accept it. I have no choice but to go through with this to make sure everyone survives. I just have to do it. First, I better check the Monokuma file. The victims were Hifumi Yamada and Kiyotaka Ishimura. The cause of death for each was a blow to the head. It is thought that they were both killed with a similar weapon. That's it?
Very strange.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. We got way less information this time than before. That is no problem. After all, the events of this case unfolded before our very eyes. We should know more about what happened than the Monokuma file could anyway. Maybe.
Well,
There's something else that's bothering me. Someone else has been missing for quite a while. Are you talking about Kyoko?
perhaps.
Without a doubt, she has an alibi for when Celeste and Hifumi were attacked. But what if the killer wasn't acting alone? What if they had an accomplice? An accomplice? An accomplice? What are you doing here?
Monokuma
Don't be rude. I'm here to
appears.
answer your question. What question?
Yep.
You're talking about accomplices, right? I'm pretty sure I explained it before, didn't I? During the first class trial.
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So, in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
But if they both kill one of the other people,
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
In other words,
so basically you can be an accomplice if you want, but there's no gratification in it.
so then.
So you're saying nobody worked together this time either?
Hey,
Sorry, can't answer that. It would obstruct the free exchange of information between you guys. I just want to make sure you don't forget, no matter how much you might assist in a murder,
Phew.
only one blackened can graduate. An accomplice gets nothing.
So, in other words,
Then we only need to figure out who that one blackened is that did the killing, right? Just like normal?
Well,
Okay. Let me take this opportunity to clarify the whole shebang. In the class trial, what you need to determine is
extreme.
the one true blackened who devised the murder plot and put it into action. The true blackened, so just one person.
Well, now.
That's enough for explainifying. Now it's down to the final battle between all of you and the blackened. Good luck to all the contestants. So there can only be one blackened. An accomplice won't benefit. Then I can't see any way Kyoko would be connected to this case after all. You may be right. If that's true, then Kyoko, where are you?
However,
As long as she's not connected to the case, it doesn't matter. Let's get back to the investigation.
Indeed.
I have absolutely no doubt that Hiro is responsible. But for the time being, I suppose it can't hurt to pursue further information.
So,
You know, don't you think we should consider a certain someone a suspect just in case? I'm talking about the murderous fiend, Genocide Jack. What? I'm offended. Gah! When did you... I've been looking all over for you, Master. When I woke up, you were nowhere to be found. Anyway, you there, milk sack swimmer girl. Milk sack?
You gotta be kidding!
Why do I gotta be a suspect?
What the heck?
Well, I mean, you are a serial killer.
What?
So what? I'm like a special guest suspect every time? I have an alibi, you know. She's right about that. When we heard Hifumi scream, she was with me. And when the bodies disappeared, she was still lying unconscious in the equipment room. Plus, Taka's body aside, I can't imagine any way she could have been able to move Hifumi's body.
Yep.
Besides, I calculate every move I make. I'm not going to kill someone when everyone knows what I look like. They don't call me the murderous fiend for nothing.
What are you saying?
That's not the kind of thing you should be bragging about.
let's see.
On another topic, should we post a guard by their bodies like before? We can't have them disappearing again.
so then.
Hina and I can handle that. You don't mind, do you, Hina? Nice try, milk sack. Sure, I'll be totally useless on the investigation anyway.
It's all clear now.
Then that's that. Let's begin. This whole thing is so strange. All but one of us has an alibi, so figuring out who did it should be obvious, right? But maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as it seems. Taka, he'll never move again. According to the Monokuma file, Taka died from a blow to the head. We found Justice Hammer 4 near his body in the equipment room. Is that what was used to kill him? There's a tarp laid out under the body. Did the killer use this to move Taka's body? That way, there wouldn't be any blood left while the body was moved. Blue tarp has been added to, yeah. There are hammers of all different sizes hanging on the wall, although some are more like mallets. Mallets. Could the Justice Hammers have been designed using these as a model? Either way, all the hammers here have obviously seen a lot of use. They're all covered in debris and chalky stone powder. Wait, for some reason, this one hammer isn't dirty at all, and it's wet. Did someone wash it recently? Spotless hammer has been added to the truth bullet section in your handbook. Okay. It's a dolly. It doesn't have a handle. I saw this in the art room before. I guess it's used to move statues around. It's kind of awkward, but if you bend down, it's not too hard to use. Huh? But wait. Wasn't this in the equipment room when they found Taka's body? And look at the wheel. There's a blood stain on it. So there's blood on the wheel of the dolly that was moved from the equipment room to the repository. What's the explanation for that? Repository dolly has been added. Yeah, okay. Hifumi's big, cold body is laying on the floor. His really big body. I mean, how on earth was the killer able to move someone so big? From the nurse's office where he was discovered to here, the repository. All the way from the first floor to the third floor, and all without anyone noticing it. How the hell? It's no good. I just don't get it. I can think about it later. For now, I have to finish investigating Hifumi himself. If I remember correctly, Hifumi's fatal injury was also a blow to the head. Probably from Justice Hammer 3, which was lying on the floor in the nurse's office. Huh? Wait. Something's off about his body. Why am I getting this feeling? Something's different. Something about Hifumi's body in the nurse's office versus his body right now. That's it. His glasses. When his body was in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But now they're completely clean. Does that mean someone wiped his glasses off? But who would do that? And why?
So,
Hey, Makoto, I've been thinking about something. It's about the repository. Huh? What is it? After Hifumi and Taka's bodies disappeared, we split up to look around, right? I was really scared, so me and Sakura stuck together.
but
And we came to the repository to, you know, look around. But when we got here, the repository was locked. We couldn't get inside. It was locked. And we came here as soon as the search started, so there's no way someone could beat us here. Have a good one, LZT. Love your face, buddy. I'll see you later. So if that's true, then who locked it? And why is it unlocked now? I wonder the same thing. The door was locked when the search for the bodies began, but now it's wide open. There might be some secret lurking in there, but I'll probably have to leave this area to figure it out. There are many aspects of the incident this time, too many to be honest, considering that it might be a good look back on everything that's happened.
So then.
Would you like my help? Yeah, let's look back on things. This morning, only 4 of us met at the dining hall. Hina, Kyoko, you, and myself. We waited for the others, but nobody showed up, so we decided to go look for them. It was around 8 o'clock when we began our search, and soon after we split up. Kyoko disappeared. After that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room on the 3rd floor, then quickly came and got you and me. According to Celeste, she was attacked by a suspicious individual and lay unconscious for about an hour. In other words, she was attacked an hour before we found her, meaning just after 7 o'clock. Based on the pictures Celeste took, we discovered her attacker was dressed in a strange costume. It was Robo-Justice. It also became clear that Robo-Justice had dragged Hifumi away. After meeting up with Toko and Byakuya, we began searching for the costume assailant. We found an injured Hifumi in the library on the 2nd floor. We took him down to the nurse's office on the 1st floor, then resumed our search. But not long after leaving the nurse's office... What's wrong? I saw a shadow. Something's moving around at the top of the stairs. Based on Celeste's claims, we went back up to the 2nd floor where we split up and began searching. Then right after that, Celeste screamed. This time she had apparently been seen the suspect on the 3rd floor. It just seems like Celeste is the person, but hearing her screams, we quickly made our way to the 3rd floor. Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down in the hallway and disappeared. And then... Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been Hifumi. He's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. At that point, we decided to split it up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back into the nurse's office. Meanwhile, Byakuya, and Toko pursued the suspect up on the 3rd floor. And when we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi's corpse, which is also when we heard body discovery announcement play. I left Celeste and Hina alone and headed back to the 3rd floor to tell the others what had happened.
However...
But at that time, we had discovered Taka's body in the equipment room, which means Hifumi and Taka's body were discovered right around the same time, because I remember hearing the body discovery announcement play right after finding Taka. And that's when I showed up and told you and Byakuya that Hifumi had been killed, right? Then you, me, and Byakuya all headed back to the nurse's office, leaving behind Toko, who had fainted. But as soon as we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who had just arrived to tell us something very unusual. Hifumi's body had disappeared. We hurried back to the nurse's office, discovered that his corpse was, in fact, gone. Then we remembered what we had abandoned the unconscious Toko and rushed back to the equipment room. This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something? This time, Taka's body had disappeared. So from there, we began our search for both of the missing bodies. And after some time, Celeste told us she found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository. And there, we rediscovered the 2 bodies that had apparently vanished. And that brings us up to now.
However...
Looking back, things certainly have been very active. If you want to go look back at the case again, just let me know. I'm fine anytime. So... Byakuya, do you think Hiro really did it? I don't see how anyone could think otherwise. When the attacks and murders and disappearances all happened, every one of us had an alibi. And that last thing Hifumi said when he died, yeah, he said Hiro's name.
So in other words...
Then there is no room to suspect anyone else. Okay, but if he did do it, why would he hide his identity with that weird costume? Maybe he thought that no matter what happened, he'd be safe as long as his face was covered. Because he's the fool of the century, you see. I mean, he is kind of dumb. But do you really think that's enough to explain it? I feel like there's a clue hiding in there somewhere.
What?
And is that it? That's all that bothers you about the case? Well, no. There are a few other things, like why did the killer try to hide the bodies? They probably figured that if we couldn't find the bodies, we couldn't complete our investigation. But if that's the case, we found the bodies pretty easily, didn't we? Again, it comes back to the fact that the culprit was a moron. Is that really all there is to it? The other thing that bothers me is why'd they bother killing 2 people? What? Because all the rules say if you can kill someone and get away with it, you graduate, right? So if you're the killer, your number 1 priority is not getting caught. But killing 2 people means more clues, more chances you'll get found out.
I see.
Hold on. Perhaps. I see. So what that means is everything okay?
That's enough.
Don't talk to me as if we're friends. Huh? What's with that? What's with the attitude? But you have my appreciation.
Goodbye.
Thanks to you, I might have some fun with this after all. His mysterious words hung in the air as he left the repository. He walked as if he'd figure something out. But if he did, would it have killed him to tell me what it was? I don't think there's anything else for me to look in here. Besides this monocam. Okay, I looked at everything in here. Okay. Through the door that Hina said it was locked before. There's definitely a lock on the door, but it can only be locked from the inside the repository. I don't see any way to lock it from the art room. The door could only be locked from the inside the repository, which makes me wonder. Hina and Sakura confirmed that the door was locked after we started looking for the missing bodies, and the door is designed so that it could only be locked from the inside the repository. In other words, when Hina checked it, someone had already gone in the repository and locked the door. When they were done, they unlocked it and left, which is why it's unlocked now. But Hina claims that there's no way someone could have beaten them to the repository, so that's certain someone... Repository, okay. There's got to be a clue around here somewhere. Maybe I should check somewhere else. There are some places I already know about. First, the nurse's office where Hifumi was found. Then the equipment room where Taka was found. So, we need like fingerprints or something like that. How do I get fingerprints, Reese? I need fingerprints! How does a proper detective solve crimes without fingerprints? It's a good question. It's a good question. There's some kind of tire mark going through the pool of blood in the middle of the room. Yeah, this is true. But fingerprints help. That blood was on its tire. Could that blood have come from here? Which could mean that Taka's body was moved from the equipment room to the repository using the dolly. Both rooms are on the 3rd floor. So that should definitely have been possible. But even if the dolly was used to move Taka's body, what about Hifumi? Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office on the 1st floor. Even without a dolly, even with a dolly, there's no way to get up to the 3rd floor. That's still a total. And Hifumi weighs a metric ton. Justice Hammer 4, the weapon that was used to kill Taka. The body was moved, but the murder weapon was just left here. The tarp. I feel like I've seen it somewhere before, and just recently, too. I was sleeping right here when the killer carried the body away. I'm super pissed I missed such an ultimately rare event. Shut up, Taka. Or not Taka, whatever your name is. So that's everything in here. Besides this. Okay, we gotta go to the nurse's office. That's the only other place we talked about, right? Was the nurse's office. Whee.